Welcome back, my friend, to your Reinvention Era. I am so excited to share with you today. We are going to waste no time because if you know me, efficiency is energy, and energy is one of your most valuable assets. My friend, I believe this episode is going to set you free. You have been believing some lies that have you paralyzed. They have kept you stuck. No more of that because you are powerful, you are purposeful, and today you're going to experience a shift. I want to give you a word picture to frame this episode. I want you to picture a powerful lion. This lion is beautiful, magnificent, majestic, yet this lion is limited. He is sitting in the middle of a ring, not in its natural state, not out in the wild where it is unlimited, where it can fully express itself and live in the place that it was meant to thrive. But instead, it's in a confined space and it's sitting up on a platform in the middle of a ring. And it is staring at the end of a bar stool. It is staring at four separate legs of a bar stool. And the other part of this picture is a lion tamer. The lion tamer is holding out that bar stool towards the lion. Each of the bar stool legs represents a separate threat, a separate distraction, a separate overwhelm. Four very distinct yet perceived limitations to that lion that has fully incapacitated him so much that it has changed his very identity, nature, and purpose. Instead of standing powerfully, confident, and strong, it's docile, really dominated by the threat of each individual bar stool leg. Which one to focus on next? The irony is that to the onlookers, it's so clear, right? It's so obvious that the lion can overpower that lion tamer at any time. You, my friend, have been paralyzed just like that lion being confronted with a bar stool because you have been falling for some lies that have overwhelmed you, that have paralyzed you, that have kept you stuck up until today. In this episode, we are going to expose those four lies, essentially your four-legged bar stool, and confront them so we can replace them with the tangible truths that will get you into movement to remember who you are and create powerful momentum to boost your reinvention journey. You are that lion at your core. You're powerful, you're beautiful, you're majestic, you're unrivaled, and you're purposeful. Before we dive in, I want to give you this caveat. There is no shame here. This is simply a journey into some self-awareness that can lead to agency, that can lead to authority, that can lead to change should you choose. This is a beautiful part of life and living. We get to choose our experience. And if our experience isn't in alignment with who we want to be, we get to reinvent. Here we go. Lie number one, I am overwhelmed. I often tell my clients that overwhelm can be one of those emotions that can bring with it a sense of coddling, almost like a baby holding a blanket. There can be this false sense of relief when we express something like overwhelm because we literally feel really validated in that moment. Let's explore this definition of overwhelm to better understand it. The literal definition is to overpower or to cover or bury. How can we relate this to everyday life? Overwhelm is the thoughts one has about the stress in their life. So let's define stress. Stress is what happens to the mind and body when there is a lot happening at the same time. And then concurrently, overwhelm occurs when we have unhelpful thoughts about that stress. And these thoughts can look like, this is unfair, I can't handle this, or this is too much. Overwhelming thoughts tend to push us to the edge to feel like life is out of our control. This reveals a key truth that really all my coaching is built on. Our thoughts about our circumstances, not the circumstances themselves, really control how we feel about them. For the most part, we get to decide if we get stressed about anything at all. And I know, my friend, this may not feel true because if we were sitting across from each other, having a conversation over coffee or wine, you may be telling me something like, this is too much for me to handle. Like you don't even understand what I'm going through. And I know this may not feel true for you right now. What this truth also means is that overwhelm is optional. And this is great news for you because between a stressful event and our response to that, there is a space for where we get to decide how we want to show up, how we want to proceed in that moment. So I want you to think of a scenario right now that constantly pulls you out of how you want to be, constantly pulls you into overwhelm. A situation that you can predict with almost 100% certainty will push your buttons. I'm going to give you a strategy here that will really be game changing if you tend to believe that being overwhelmed is your natural state. Here it is. It is asking yourself a powerful question. And this is a little aside. When you ask your brain powerful questions, really high quality questions, your brain goes to work for you to look for high quality solutions. Here is this question. What is the next best thing I can do from the calmest version of myself? I'm going to say it one more time. What is the next best thing I can do from this calmest version of myself? From this place, your brain will approach your situation or stress with new solutions and a new perspective that isn't clouded in overwhelm, but is leading with a sense of calm certainty. Remember, in this episode, we are really refuting the 4 lies of the hypothetical 4-legged bar stool that is keeping your inner lion tamed and paralyzed and overwhelmed and confused. And as we're willing to confront these lies, here's the first one. I am overwhelmed. And you are going to replace this lie with your new truth. Here it is. I can approach my life with calm certainty no matter what stress I am facing. I'm going to put all of these truths in the show notes so that you can begin to practice them or a form of them that seems believable to you so that when you have these thoughts of overwhelm, you can begin to approach them with the new truth. Your brain loves repetition. So any lies that you have been believing are simply on repeat. You want to interrupt that playlist with the new believable thought. And as you do this via repetition, your subconscious beliefs are going to become conscious. You will stop believing this lie of overwhelm and start believing that you can approach your life with calm certainty, no matter what stress you are facing. And ultimately, calm will become your new go-to state. Lie number 2, I am indecisive. I want you to picture your mind like a garden. It is colorful and lush. There are flowers in the form of creativity and imagination and ideas and positivity and possibilities. But then there are some belief weeds that are contributing to your indecision. How do we approach this in your garden of your mind? We must uproot these weeds because these weeds will begin to choke out the life of every healthy plant in your garden. We have to confront these weeds. We have to look at them and identify them and then uproot them at the source. So here is this belief weed number 1 that is leading and causing the growth of indecision in your mind. I don't want to make the wrong decision. This thinking assumes that there is only one right decision to be made. But I want to pose this question to you, my friend. What if there's no wrong decision? What if either decision that you're facing is equally good? There's no right or wrong. There just is. For the majority of the decisions in your life, this is absolutely the case. And the key to uproot this weed of belief is by lowering resistance. So how do we lower resistance around this idea? By accepting that there is no wrong decision. And when the resistance around any decision being right or wrong is lowered, there's an acceptance and a willingness to step into decision with a powerful state. No longer coming from this disempowered state that assumes that there's only one right or wrong way, which then leads to some paralysis. So that's root belief number 1, that I don't want to make the wrong decision. Root belief number 2 that must be choked at the source is I need to be perfect. Now, this belief is somewhat related to there's only one right decision, but this one is a little bit more layered. And oftentimes I see this in my clients where there is this analysis paralysis that is activated because there is this underlying subconscious belief that I must be perfect in order to act. And the irony is perfection never comes, right? And therefore neither does the decision. So the person ends up spinning an indecision and doing nothing from this place of analysis paralysis. So just like that paralyzed lion in the ring, staring at the head of that bar stool leg, limited by the lie, you get to ask yourself, am I stuck in perfection paralysis that manifests itself in indecision? And if so, there is hope in the form of this new truth. There is no right or wrong decision. I make powerful decisions with the best information I have at the time. Line number 3, I am worried. Anxiety is an underlying fear that something negative will happen in the future. It is a future-based fear. Let's take a look at the word anxiety. I love to look at root words to really understand how this is affecting our lives at the core level. So the root word of the word anxiety comes from Latin and Greek words meaning to choke, to squeeze, or to narrow. Now, if you've ever had an anxiety attack, you understand physiologically how this can actually feel and manifest. Because when you are anxious, your world tends to shrink. Your thinking narrows, your body tightens, your breath shortens, and your creativity really goes offline. It goes out the window. And anxiety conveniently tells you that something is wrong before anything is actually wrong. You anticipate something happening in the future that will more than likely not even happen. Now, the synonym for anxiety is worry, and worry is simply a repetitive thought about a future you can't control. So let me say that again very slowly. Worry is a repetitive thought about a future you cannot control. And Jesus says so eloquently, don't worry about tomorrow, for today has enough trouble of its own. It's like focusing on today is really the key to eliminating this belief of I am worried or I am anxious. Anxiety isn't intuition. It's not wisdom. It's not preparation. It is really your imagination running around without authority. And here is where this lie has really been keeping you stuck. When you believe I am worried as an identity, you begin to live as if danger is inevitable. You start rehearsing outcomes that may never happen. You emotionally experience pain that doesn't yet exist. You exhaust energy that was meant for creation, for leadership, love, momentum, purpose, passion, enjoyment. Now, picture that lion again. The lion doesn't move, not because the bar stool is dangerous, but because it imagines danger. Here's the truth anxiety does not want you to see. The future does not require your fear in order to be handled. You do not need to pre-suffer to be prepared. And I bet you can attest to this, that most of what you worry about never happens. All the things that do happen, we almost always handle far better than we imagine we would. Instead of, I am worried, your new truth is this: I am capable of handling whatever comes next. Not everything at once, not the entire future, just the next moment. And when you live from that truth in the present, anxiety loosens its grip from the future. And I also want to offer one last thing, my friend. When you tend to have feelings of worry or anxiety, it is your invitation to get back into the present, to get back into your body. And a helpful tool for this is to simply put your attention on something in your physical world. Invite yourself back into the present by bringing your attention to something within your physical realm. Lie number 4, I am confused. This one is subtle, but yet it's very powerful because confusion often can sound somewhat responsible. It sounds thoughtful, it sounds self-aware, but confusion is rarely a lack of clarity. I'm going to say that again. Confusion is rarely a lack of clarity. Most of the time, confusion is a lack of trust. Confusion happens when you receive too much input and not enough internal authority to be able to manage that input. Too many opinions, too many voices, too many options, too many shoulds. And instead of choosing, you freeze. Confusion becomes a comfortable delay tactic, almost like that baby coddling that blanket again. Because as long as you're confused, you don't have to commit. You don't have to act. You don't have to take the next step. You don't have to risk. You don't have to move. But here's the truth. Clarity does not come before action. Clarity comes from action. The lion does not figure out its power by thinking about it. It remembers its power by standing up. Confusion dissolves the moment you choose movement. And here's what most people don't realize. You are not confused because you don't know what to do. You are confused because you are afraid to trust yourself. Instead of, I am confused, here's your new truth. I trust myself to take the next aligned step. Not the whole staircase, just the next step. And when you trust yourself, confusion no longer gets to run your show. I am going to include a bonus line here, one that is very personal to me because it was one I lived out most of last year. And this bonus line that I'm going to offer you is I am distracted. Distraction is one of the most socially acceptable limitations we carry. We wear it casually, we wear it proudly. I just have too much going on and my brain is everywhere and I can't focus. Does that sound familiar? But distraction is not a personality trait. It's not a lack of discipline, and it's not inevitable. Distraction comes in the form of divided energy, and divided energy dilutes purpose. I want you to think about this analogy. I want you to take a laser beam versus a flashlight. Which one of those light sources has the most power? The one that's focused, the one that's intentional, the one that's aimed and purposeful, the laser beam. The flashlight has diffused light fragments that aren't going to be as powerful nor as bright. Now, here's the truth that most people don't want to confront, but you're not most people. Distraction is not caused by too much to do. It's caused by a lack of decision, a lack of focus. When you haven't decided what matters most, everything feels equally important. Everything pulls at you. Everything gets your attention. And your power leaks out in 1,000 small directions. So this was my wake-up call. And in December, I made a really powerful decision. I chose my word for the year, focus. Not as a vibe, not as an intention, but as my personal standard. I stopped identifying as someone who struggles with focus. I stopped negotiating with distraction. I stopped entertaining everything that wanted my attention. I started saying no more than I was saying yes, because focus is not something you find. Focus is something you choose and create. And once I made that decision, really everything changed. My energy consolidated, my clarity sharpened, my momentum accelerated. I went from a flashlight to now becoming this laser beam. So here is the truth that can replace your lie. Instead of I am distracted, your new truth is I am focused. I decide what gets my attention. I decide what matters. I direct my energy on purpose. And when you claim focus, you reclaim your personal power. So let's take a look at that bar stool again. Overwhelm, indecision, worry, confusion, and that bonus leg of distraction. 5 perceived threats, 5 lies. And not one of them was ever stronger than you, even though for a time being, they created some distraction, some confusion, some overwhelm, some worry, some anxiety. But the moment you stop believing them, the moment you stand up, the moment you remember who you are, that bar stool, those perceived threats, those lies disappear. You were never meant to live scattered, my friend. You were never meant to live small. You were meant to live directed. You were meant to live powerful, purposeful, passionate, and a life that you love to be in that benefits you and the world around you. So here is your moment on your reinvention journey to choose truth, to choose focus, and to ultimately move. Don't let that bar stool control you, paralyze you, lock you into lies any longer. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, and I will see you in the next episode of your Reinvention Era. You got this, my friend. If today's episode resonated with you, it's because you are ready for more than just inspiration. You are ready to take action and reinvent your life at a deeper level. I work one-on-one with high-achieving men and women to help them move past what's holding them back, reclaim their confidence, and step fully into the next version of themselves. Now, if you're done feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unclear about what's next, this is your invitation to work with me directly. Visit the link below to apply for private coaching with me and start building the life that you were meant to live. And let me remind you, you are not behind. You are becoming who you were always meant to be.